Thank you. Welcome everyone to tonight's meeting of the Finance and Governance Committee of Georges River Council. I declare the meeting open at 6:02 p.m. Acknowledgement of country. The Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which this meeting is being held as that of the Bedigal people of the Eora Nation. Staff and public are reminded that this meeting is open and the meeting is being broadcast live to the public on Council's website in accordance with Section 4 of Council's Code of Meeting Practice. The Code of Meeting Practice states that only if the meeting moves into a closed confidential session in accordance with Section 13 of the Code of Meeting Practice will the public broadcasting of the meeting be suspended. Council's Code of Meeting Practice prohibits the electronic of meetings without the express permission of Council. We move on to apologies. I believe we have all councillors in attendance, so there's no apologies tonight.
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do any councillors have any disclosures of interest to declare on any of the items on tonight's business paper?
Do we have to move the motion?
No, not if there's no disclosures.
So none from the councillors at home. Okay. Public participation. There are no speakers for tonight's meeting. So we move on to the first item of business, which is the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. That is FIN 007-22. Confirmation of the meeting minutes of the Finance and Governance Committee held on the 14th of February 2022. Councillors, can I have a mover and a seconder for that motion?
I'll move that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Symington. And a seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Marnie, thank you. Any discussion? If not, I'll put the motion. Do we want to go around, Roxanne? How would you like to do that?
Given that there are two people online, Madam Chair, I think it's probably good practice that in good governance that we do seek the vote of everybody.
Okay.
So I'll start with your vote, please.
Yeah, for the motion.
Thank you. Apologies. Councillor Green.
For the motion.
Councillor Jamieson.
For the motion.
Councillor Marnie.
For.
And Councillor Symington.
For.
That's unanimous, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We'll declare that motion carried. Next item is FIN 008-22. That is administrative matter, execution of documents under delegated authority between the period of 1st of February 2022 and 28th of February 2022. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please, for that motion?
I'll move it.
Councillor Marnie, thank you. And a seconder?
Second.
Yep, Councillor Green, thank you. If we could take the votes on that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Your vote, please.
For the motion.
Councillor Green.
For.
Councillor Jamieson.
For.
Councillor Marnie.
For.
And Councillor Symington.
For.
That's unanimous.
Thank you. We'll declare that carried. The next item of business is FIN 009-22. It's the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee minutes of meeting held on 25th November 2021. First of all, can I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Symington. Just move the motion. And a seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Marnie. Is there any questions or any discussion on the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee minutes? No questions or discussion? Okay, I'll put the motion. If you could take the votes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Your vote.
For the motion.
Councillor Green.
For.
Councillor Jamieson.
For the motion.
Councillor Marnie.
For.
And Councillor Symington.
For.
That's unanimous, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I declare that motion carried. The next item is FIN 010-22, the investment report as at 31st of January 2022. Can I have a mover and seconder, please, councillors?
I'll move it.
Councillor Marnie, thank you. Move the motion. And a seconder?
Second.
Councillor Green. Councillors, are there any questions or discussion on the investment report? No, if not, we'll put the motion and we'll get you to take the votes again, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Your vote.
For the motion.
Councillor Green.
For.
Councillor Jamieson.
For.
Councillor Marnie.
For.
Councillor Symington.
For.
That's unanimous, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I declare that motion carried. We move to FIN 011-22, which is the report on outstanding council resolutions for the period up to and including 31st of December 2021. Can I have a mover for that motion, please?
I'll move it.
Councillor Barney. And a seconder, please, councillors.
I'll second that, Madam
Councillor
Chair.
Symington. Is there any questions or discussion on the report on outstanding council resolutions?
I do. I have a couple of questions and I'm trying to bring it up properly, but anyway, I know it off by heart. My question is with the Peakers Park that was initiated in a meeting in May 2021. I'm just a bit concerned at the time that it's taking, considered, because I was under the impression, and I'm pretty sure the football club intended that impression, that there was a safety issue. I'm just concerned as why we're only starting consultation in May 2022. And why we don't have funds to be able to deal or mitigate the risk in the short term. I understand the issue in the long term, but that's my question.
Okay, I'll put that to the director.
Through you, Madam Chair, I'd have to take that on notice, as council would be aware that this doesn't fall under my portfolio, so I'm not really in a position to answer that question. So I'll take that question on notice and reply back to all councillors within the next several days.
Okay, are you happy with that, Councillor Johnson? So you want to know why the consultation is just commencing now, is that correct?
I'm actually asking, I'm trying to juggle this one, but why we haven't actually attributed funds to the risk, the safety risk, and why it hasn't been, the safety risk has not really been addressed. Because that was the impression, that was in May 2021 when there was a unanimous decision was addressing the safety issue that was reported in the newspaper. And I understand it looks like it's a big project, but the underlying issue and the key issue and the most important one was to deal with the risk for the children. So it's been in the newspaper again. And I think we need to put enough, I just don't understand why we can't find the funds. If we can find 2.7 million for Hurstville Aquatic Leisure Centre, obviously it might be different, but if you can find $2.7 million, like the third $20,000 to $40,000 just to do the safety portion of it, because now it's turned into a big engineering project and compliance, but it's not dealing with the safety issue.
Is that to the director?
Urgency and the safety issue, I should
Is that
say.
a question you can answer in regards to the attributing funds to attend to the safety risk as opposed to the broader?
No, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, it's not.
Okay.
Again, it's not in my area, and you know, we had a quarterly review last council meeting, so our money's still very tight. So I'm not in a position until I have a chance to talk to the director who looks after that area to make sure that we can answer that question appropriately. Okay,
thank you. Councillor Jamieson, did you have another question?
Yes, I did. Again, in September 21, we had the issue of a Mortdale master plan, and part B of that motion was to go out and consult again. Now, I noticed in the questions of notice in the last meeting, it didn't tackle part B. So I'm getting a lot of inquiries and issues with the Mortdale master plan is what's going on, and we've got the impression that it's basically going to go back in May and we're just going to get pressured to vote it through so that we don't lose funding. So how is that being addressed? Because it doesn't seem like it's actually being addressed. What do we say? What do we tell my constituents?
And to the director.
And I'm probably asking the wrong person again. Sorry, I'm just asking you.
Through you, Madam Chair, unfortunately, to Councillor Jamieson, is that I won't be able to answer that either. I would have to talk to the Director of Environment and Planning and have her answer that question.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Jamieson, do you have another question, or is it?
I think I'll leave everyone alone now. Sorry, that was my two key questions in that report.
Okay, is there any other questions?
Yeah, I've got a question. Through you, Madam Chair, to Ms. Thornton. My question is just about So say when we do a notice of motion and there's letters that have got to go to say state or federal members or like, you know, departments or whatever, and we want to get a response. Is there a facility, because like the action will say completed, the letter's been sent, but is there something within the system where it, like it's alarmed for when those letters is, you know, are they coming back? Do you know what I mean? Like, so.
As in a notification mechanism to notify the councillors. Through you, Madam Chair, sorry, and I was just clarifying the question from Councillor Symington. You know, there's not an automatic notification system or a mechanism to advise councillors. When it does come through, a response normally always references our outgoing correspondence, so there is a tie back to the council resolution. In previous councils I've worked at, there is a way of, you actually report it back as a précis of correspondence back to council, sort of to close that loop. That's not included in our current code of meeting practice. It could be something that's addressed in a future review, or indeed offline outside of the code of meeting practice. It could just be an agreement reached or a new resolution of council. That if there is any response received following a letter or correspondence issued off a council resolution, that it be circulated back to councillors.
Because when I worked in elected offices, we had like I had an alarm system. So say I sent off on behalf of the member, and then I had like a 6 or 8 week alarm. So it would, you know, like a coming back. So I closed off the loop, and then say the constituent was advised. So I just think that would help.
There is no automated system in place, so it would be relying upon a new procedure to be implemented, or a personal procedure or system, a process in the executive services team.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I had a question. Thank you. To the director, for you, Madam Chair. I understood that if there was a safety issue and funds weren't available, there was a way to untie funds from another budget to address that safety issue. Is that correct?
Through you, Madam Chair, it is there is no process that we untie them from other projects. We would have to look at other projects and see which projects took precedent over the other projects. But look, again, this is not my area. I need the opportunity to be able to talk to the director about it. And if the risk to the community is as severe as what is being suggested, that we would have an obligation to make sure that we did something about it to make it safe for the community. That's our number one priority. It is now and it always will be, that their safety is paramount.
Thank you.
Thank you to the director. Councillors, any other questions or discussion before we put the motion on the report on outstanding council resolutions? Okay, we'll put that motion. If council staff could take the votes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Your vote?
For the motion.
Councillor Green.
For the motion.
Councillor Jamieson.
For the motion.
Councillor Marnie.
For.
And Councillor Symington.
For.
That's unanimous, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I'll declare that carried. The next item is FIN 012-22. That's the property matter commercial property portfolio report as at 31st December 2021. If I could have a mover, first of all, please, councillors.
Yeah, move that way.
Yeah, Councillor Green, and a seconder, please.
I'll second that, Madam Chair.
Councillor Symington, thank you. Councillors, any questions or discussion on the property matter commercial property portfolio report?
Councillor Borg, I remember we were asking, is this the report that was discussed that you were asking to have a breakdown? So it's just the commercial properties, including retail, commercial, that doesn't really cover those issues, because we were talking about, what is it, premium properties, wasn't it?
Yes.
As was pointed out at the last meeting, this is a completely separate report. Unfortunately, in the last meeting, there was confusion from the mover, whose information was incorrect, and that's where the mistake came. This is a separate report.
Through you, Madam Chair, this is a report that we bring to council every quarter. It has been so since, I think, Councillor Symington, since 2017.
17, yes.
So this is, as I say, their quarterly report that comes on commercial properties to council.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not the report on the premium facilities, which is a separate
Report.
item.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So any other questions or discussion, councillors? Otherwise, we'll put that motion.
Madam Chair, I'll take your vote, please.
For the motion.
Councillor Green,
For the motion.
Councillor Jamieson,
For the motion.
Councillor Marnie,
For.
and Councillor Symington.
For.
That's unanimous, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Declare that carried. The last item on the paper is FIN 013-22. It's property matter. Hurstville Golf Course easement to drain water from Balmoral Road, Mortdale. First of all, can I have a mover and a seconder, councillors?
I'll move it.
Councillor Marnie, thank you. And a seconder,
I'll second it.
Councillor Symington, thank you. Councillors, is there any questions or discussions on this item? No? Okay, we'll put the motion.
Can I just a quick question. There's no connection between the owner and council in any way, shape or form, is there? It's just a resident. Council doesn't have any connection with that property owner, do they?
Through you, Madam Chair, no. We have these that come to council quite regularly, the easement to drain water. So council will be getting several of these over the next 12 months, I'm sure.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion, councillors? Otherwise, I'll put the motion.
Madam Chair, your vote, please.
For the motion.
Councillor Green,
For.
Councillor Jamieson,
For the motion.
Councillor Marnie,
For.
and Councillor Symington.
For.
That's a unanimous vote, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Declare the motion carried, and there being no other business on the agenda, then I declare the meeting closed at 6:19 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye now.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
councillors.
Kevin. Bye-bye.
Staff, we can end the broadcast. Thank you.